Friday night on Sportswire Radio, to start the weekend off here, they showed us that they're true diamonds in the rough. But what exactly happened last night in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the biggest show in the history of Hay Barn Championship Wrestling that Harvest Havoc? And well, was it what the establishment wanted? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about maybe some winners and losers and new champions and former champions and what did I just see, plus who knows whatever else. And yeah, there's a lot of screaming in the background because, well, everybody wants to know what exactly happened. Are they still true diamonds in the rough? I'm going to get to it. Usually I do this long intro, and I'm going to do an intro, but I'm not going to quite go into that long one. But I'm going to start this night off here the way we usually do and get us off going on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one cable sports show. They are one of the premier factions around in all of wrestling, and especially Hay Barn Championship Wrestling. They are the true diamonds in the rough. The establishment. First, he's a brick house. Dun, 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 dun. He's got the moves. But will he talk about the Hardcore Championship? Because his name is simply put, Night Junior, and the man who's certainly a prodigy, but isn't as arrogant as he claims, because he's the brand new Hay Barn Championship Wrestling's social media champion. His name is simply put, Back Junior, and the man who sits on top of the Hay Barn Championship Wrestling world and the reigning, defending world heavyweight champion. His name is simply but the Deal a Clips. The true diamonds in the rough are here, my friends. How are we doing?
I mean, could be a lot better. We won some, we lost some. I mean, last night it was historic, all right. 3-year anniversary. Yeah, honestly, I don't have much else to say about it right now.
I don't blame you, Joey. I don't blame you. Definitely roller coaster emotions. Aaron Black, good to be with you. Congratulations on winning that social media championship. Certainly a bright spot, a diamond in the rough, figuratively and literally, for the group here, which we'll talk about. And obviously, the real deal Eclipse. You may still be on top in HCW, but at what cost? And there's certainly something missing there. I'll get into all of that, but I think because we've got a lot to talk about here tonight in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that the establishment, you guys, and Haybarn Championship Wrestling have certainly helped build. We're going to set the tables here. We're going to go right to you, the real deal Eclipse, and go more or less and talk about what we just saw. First, for full possession of the HCW Tag Team Championships, I have the footage. I'm going to show it for our audience. We're going to talk about it and certainly get into a lot that happened last night for the 3-year anniversary show for Haybarn Championship Wrestling's Harvest Havoc here. So obviously, Champ, I mean, certainly talk about what's going on out here to start.
You know, pretty much, I was trying to pretty much beat up on him. He kind of, weaseled his way around and got me on top. And it, I just, I don't know, pretty much, what his strategic plan was, but he should have known that he can't outrun an ass whooping. So, no matter where you go, you're gonna have to catch these hands, and um, that's just what he got. I was very very pleased with how well he kind of played his cards out there. I will say that much. That means at least something did stick with us outside of him being a rat.
A Benedict Arnold, a traitor, a man who
Yeah.
put the knife in all of your backs and the distrust and certainly persona non grata Kip Havoc is to you guys. And I'll tell you what, Eclipse, you are definitely fired up here tonight. And I could see that the fans are behind you, and you were literally lifting Kip Havoc more or less like a sack of potatoes here. Just you can see it. You can just see what you're doing to him here. You are not messing around here, champ.
Oh no, I went in with the mentality that I'm going to have fun beating the tar out of Kip Havoc. And my goodness, that first punch when that bell rang and I got my hands on him, oh my goodness. Man, it felt really, really good.
You
Because the
did
only
say
thing
here
that
on Friday, by the way, that this is what was on your mind more or less than the championship match with TD Shepard, which we're going to get to. Oh, we're going to get to that later. But this match, in some ways, meant more to you and the rest of the guys than any other match here on the card. Maybe any other match you guys have had collectively as a group.
I mean, I will say that I was more zeroed in on this matchup than I should have been, because again, TD Shepard, that was a test. That was a huge test, and he caught me slipping. I will say that he caught me slipping, but I played my cards right, and of course, um, it played out in my favor.
Well, there's no question that there was a lot on the line, and I got to ask Joey and Aaron here real quick. What was going through your mind here watching this match and how it was playing out?
For me personally, I was watching this in the back and just pure happiness and joy, satisfaction. Trying to focus because I had to go on right after this match. I had to prepare for my match with Day Luna, but I just couldn't help but smile at the just pure butt whooping that Kip Havoc was getting throughout this match. But Chris Preston playing his mind games. I mean, he had his boy Aaron Storm down there last night playing his music, trying to distract Eclipse. And we always got to worry about everyone. Carnage, Mayhem Mafia, whoever it be. We have plenty of enemies in that locker room.
You guys have definitely had them for quite a while. And for you, Aaron Black, what's going through your mind here and all through this?
I've caught glimpses of the match, but just like Joey, my main focus was on my match. But I did catch uh, I'd say a good 60-70% of it.
And you certainly weren't happy about the referee's decision here.
Wow.
Yeah. Like Joey said, the mind games is it's crazy that
Yeah,
with it,
it
and
was crazy. It was
but
crazy.
Eclipse did get his lick back from last month. I can tell you that.
You did, but you didn't walk away with those tag team championships.
I wasn't concerned about those tag titles. Right after I heard Chris Preston's music hit, I was like, okay, it's either he's really here trying to really distract me, or it's one of Carnage's mind games. And honestly, that was a Carnage mind game. Kip played his cards right, and but guess what? That plan backfired because I outsmarted you. Yeah, you walked away with the gold, but you didn't walk away at all.
Win to win, though, in this sport. And I hate to say it, guys, but Kip Havoc has got it, and he's got control of those tag team championships. And you guys may have won that battle, but some would say Kip Havoc won the war, and Carnage takes one away from you guys. So, definitely what it was. And what can I say? Let's go to you next, Joey. Let's go to you, Joey Knight Jr., because obviously this was a very, very mixed bag. It's funny, before I do that, we were talking on Friday's show, and we were all like, it's going to go two ways. You guys are going to take all the gold. It's going to be basically a coronation, or it's going to go the other way. You guys are going to lose it all, but it was almost neither. It was almost like the definition of purgatory. You won some, you lost some, and kind of in between in some of what else in the other outcomes. So you guys are almost like the equivalent, I hate to say it, like the Atlanta Falcons this past evening show. They always say the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons are the NFL's version of purgatory. And we'll get to that later on. But let's put your match up here next, Joey Knight Jr., because I want to get into that, because De Luna, I'll tell you what, Matthew De Luna, he said a few things right before this bell. He talked about the 1-year anniversary of him winning the Hardcore Championship. He talked about basically guaranteeing he was going to walk away back with that Hardcore Championship. But let's go back here to the footage. Obviously, the Crack staff has given us here, and thank you to Joey. We'll put Joey's YouTube link up here in a minute. But obviously, we're here, and we're seeing you and De Luna just going at it, and it's a true hardcore war, you might want to say. And
Yeah.
Joey, talk about what we're seeing here.
Yeah, by this point, I cracked De Luna full force for steel chair, busted him wide open. I brought up some new toys. I know Ox McCoy on the last stream, he said, I want to see some different weapons. I provided. I grabbed some old PS1 and Xbox 360 video games.
They're still alive, PS1 games? They're still like in existence?
Yeah, and cracked those little cases over his head, pulled one of the games out, and I sliced his head like it was a pizza. And as you can see now, trying to drag that tub of lard to the center of the ring for my next attack.
Yep.
When you go against a guy like De Luna, you got to go for the big risk. And, I'm measuring myself. I'm distancing myself. And, you'll see right here, caught that fan right there, tried to point to the sky, pay tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and drop a frog splash. I don't know how well the folks can see it, but, pretty swollen up finger right there. But thankfully,
Joey Knight Jr. Yeah, I mean, well,
thankfully
Ox is
not
here.
broken.
And by the way, the enforcer of Sportswire Radio, I want to refer to him as Ox McCoy, but at what cost, Joey Knight Jr.? And, well, you didn't get the job done, and you went into the high-rent district, and you tried to do your tribute to the late, great Eddie Guerrero, but I guess maybe the check bounced, you might want to say.
Yeah, I mean, De Luna, he, no matter what I could say about him, he's a tough competitor. He's one of those guys where every time, like, just when you think he's done, he just somehow finds a new resilience to keep going. And ultimately, at the end of the day, yeah, took his boot right to the face.
Ooh, Joey Knight Jr., boy, that was definitely, yeah. I mean, that was boots to the face, that's for sure.
Yeah, and ultimately, I'm never gonna like his tactics. I'm never gonna, forget the things that have happened over the past year. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I have to respect the type of competitor he is, just how tough he is. And, as we'll see later on, I took a pound of flesh with me. Let's just say that. I took a pound of flesh off of Day Luna throughout this match. We went to war. We beat the absolute tar out of each other. Bell to bell. It was nonstop. It was gruesome. It was mayhem. You know, I was
Yeah, I
taking
mean, we
some.
could look at it. Look at De Luna's head for the audience out there. He's definitely got a mark. And how about that there? I mean, splashing you onto the chair. I mean, boy, tables, ladders, and chairs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Joey Knight Jr. felt all that there.
And not gonna lie, my ribs are still kind of hurting from that. Um, I had to deal with that for the rest of the match, most definitely. Day Luna, very innovative with his offense. Once again, hate giving the devil his due, but this is why I was looking forward to the challenge of Matthew Day Luna. And at the beginning of the match, when he was on his way to the ring, he sent he sent Truman to the back. So I thought in the back of my head, like, okay, Matthew's gonna be a man for once, and I'm gonna get the truest form of Matthew Day Luna. You know, as we'll see, later on, I was wrong in some parts on that, but
You should have
yeah,
knew better, Joey. Joey, you've been dealing with this on and off for the past year, and I guess you thought maybe it would have been different, but shame on you once, okay. Fool me twice. I don't know, Joey. And it's what it is, but you are certainly taking a beating here. It's definitely, well, let's just say Matthew De Luna is proving why he has traveled up across the South and why he's got that GCW United States Championship. And oh boy, I tell you what, you had one last gasp in you there, Joey. One last gasp, and you threw the chair down and just in disgust, and you're ready to end this and continue your amazing run as 120 plus days and counting as the HCW Hardcore Championship. And if you are here while we're watching this match, hit that sub button for Joey Knight Jr. Hit that sub button to get your HCW and establishment content. But Matthew De Luna is showing why he is a big man. You may be a brick house, but you will certainly not be singing the Commodores or Lionel Richie here, because you are certainly about to feel some wraths very shortly. But you're fighting, Joey. You're a fighter. You're definitely showing why you're a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, I think I got everything in hand. I know Day Luna's down for the count. I'm trying to, get the crowd behind me,
But
but
you're wasting time,
ultimately
Joey.
ultimately my ribs
But you're
from
wasting
earlier.
way too much time. But wait a minute, Joey! Joey, turn around! Turn around! Gore! Gore! To quote the man we interviewed, the man being Rhino, the War Machine, the last proper ECW World Champion, Joey Knight Jr. Yeah. Well, guess what? You gave Matthew De Luna an opportunity, and that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell. And no HCW Hardcore Champion. I mean, Eclipse and Aaron Black. What on earth were you guys thinking? What we just saw?
So it's honestly crazy because these our opponents know that they're not better than us, and I'll get into that.
We're gonna get to your match next. We're
When
going to
we
you
get,
next.
yeah, I'll get into that when we go to that. But Matthew knew Joey wasn't gonna go down without a fight. Joey, I know Joey. Joey just wasn't gonna lay down, and especially with Matthew and the feud there. And to me personally, I knew Joey was gonna win against Matthew, and then Truman came out there and screwed him, and Yep, the rest is
History.
what it is.
What do you think here, champ?
Well, I felt like they probably planned this probably right before they came through that curtain because me, like Joey said, I had just got done dealing with Kip, and hey, I got to go back to the back. I got to get ready for TD, and Aaron's trying to get ready for his, and it's like they caught us slipping. I'll say that again because we're so focused on everything else, outside of making sure that the other one has backup. And unfortunately, Truman did that to my boy Joey, and uh, I honestly it kind of pisses me off a little bit, because I saw that coming, but I just didn't act on it. I've danced this dance with De Luna before, and
Yep.
it's not the first go around. So I
Nope.
should have warned Joey about that potential, but I didn't, and that was my fault.
But you know what, though? You may be right. Aaron may be right. But Joey, you gave De Luna an opportunity. You're the champ. You're the incumbent. You know what you've been facing. You know what De Luna said about you in that hardcore championship, and you gave an opportunity for outside interference. Yeah, it was bumpy. It wasn't right, but
Fact of the matter is, I had Matthew De Luna dead to rights,
you
and
did
I
have him. You did.
and I know in Matthew's heart, in that moment, he knew he wasn't walking away the HCW Hardcore Champion. Honestly, when he probably walked out of that curtain, he knew he wasn't going to walk out as Hardcore Champion without help. He knew he couldn't beat me without help. So he had to send, when you're sitting at home, you got your dog, and they're 90 something pounds, and they still think, they're a little puppy, and they try to get in your lap. That's exactly what Truman is. He's a little lap dog from Matthew De Luna.
Family's
So,
family, though. Family's family. And listen, you guys basically would have did the same thing for each other in that spot. Come on. You guys are family. You guys are family. You guys are true diamonds in the rough. You guys would have did the same thing if the opportunity was presented.
see, that's something where at least me, I'll have to disagree with you on, Tom, because see, for us, yeah, if something like that were to happen, someone would interfere first, and yes, if we were able to, we would come out there and even the odds. But all three of us are real men, unlike Matthew De Luna, unlike Truman, unlike Kip Havoc and the rest of Carnage, because we know we can handle our business by ourselves. We're just simply bounded together to make sure we're even the odds for each other. So when it comes to Truman, when it comes to Matthew De Luna, Truman, boy, all I gotta say is watch your back, because you've just now made a new enemy, Truman. And Matthew, I hope you don't plan on becoming the longest reigning HCW hardcore champion again, because I'm gonna get that belt back once I
You know,
get done dealing with your little lapdog.
well, I'll tell you what, before we get to Aaron's match, where we certainly had, well, a diamond in a rough night last night, they famously said, Dewey defeats Truman? Well, something tells me the Brick House, if he gets his way, is going to defeat Truman, and that could be happening real soon. But we'll talk about that at a different time. But I got to get to, again, the bright spot, the diamond in a rough night for the establishment. And I'm going to you, my man, Aaron Black, because certainly it was a bumpy evening, rocky road, you might want to say, for the establishment. But you certainly were the bright spot. Let's talk about it here for the audience, where we are and what you're going through here in this 2 out of 3 falls match for the social media championship against over the 1-year champion that Black Savage has been.
So the first fall, it was a count out. He threw me out the ring, and that was his mistake. I guess he wasn't paying attention to the count. At 8, I threw him into the post. I took my opportunity, At 9, I rolled back into the ring, and then 10, I got the first fall. The second fall, hit me with the Blue Thunder Bomb, and that's what she wrote for that one. So it was I got the first one, he got the second one. And just like I want to touch on, our opponents not being better than us.
Sure.
So time after time, when I've had my opportunities, it's always been interference. Every single match.
Yeah, absolutely. We had 3 or 4 instances that we've talked about it here on Sportswire.
And I believe it's because Black Savage knew he could not beat me one-on-one. And that's the reason they had to do the little twin magic. That's the reason why, Bad Guy had to stunner me. That's the reason Chris Preston came out and hit me, because they knew truly
it was the Chris
that
Preston show yesterday. Let's just put it that way. I mean, boy, in some way or another, Chris Preston, he was everywhere left and right, it felt.
Yeah, and so I feel like, they know that they're not better than us. But I truly got my one-on-one and I laid it all on the line. And I'm really shocked that Carnage didn't come out there and interfere. But, it definitely helped that they didn't.
Well, why do you think that's an interesting point? Because we saw interference in Joey's match, and we saw what happened with Eclipse and Kip Havoc, and we're going to certainly get to what happens in the next match, the main event. But why do you think, Aaron, that Carnage didn't interfere in your match?
Because so how I'm thinking of it is, I called Black Savage out. I told him that he could not beat me one-on-one. I told him the only reason he has beaten me is because of interference. So I'm pretty sure he told his little Carnage jabronis out there, look, I got this. And apparently he did not have it. So
building false sense of security.
But that was something in the back of your mind.
Yes, it definitely was. I was prepared for it. I was prepared for Bishop to come out there and try to spear me, or Kip to even try to come out there and screw me. But like Joey said, it was a false sense of security. And
how about that kick there, Aaron? You certainly are a prodigy for a reason.
Yeah, I gave him an insecurity there, and I thought this was going to be the end right here. I go up for my frog splash. And here in my head, I'm thinking, I put people out with this move, and even though
but he's the champ for a reason. He's the champ. I
can't stand Carnage. I knew it was going to be a battle. I knew that I knew he wasn't just
400 plus days.
Let me win.
It's hard to beat a champ.
So, yeah, I think he just thought he had me. But in my mind, I know that he's not better than me. And yeah.
That's all that pent-up rage you've had these past several months. Oh my, you missed there. You missed there. You gave an opportunity to the champ to come back one more time, but you know what? You're resilient. Everything you've went through, and there's that curb stomp. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Did I just see it? Did I think I saw what I just saw here? Because it looks like finally, after over 400 days, we have a new HCW social media champion, the arrogant prodigy, Aaron Black, a new social media champion, Aaron Black.
I honestly think this should have happened a while ago, but Black Savage was just denying, just how do you say it? Delaying the inevitable.
Inevitable, yeah.
Yeah, and
look at those fans standing. The 3-year anniversary show of HCW, and the fans are standing, and just an amazing moment, a moment that has been well deserved, long overdue. You have fought through so much these past several months, and finally you can say you're a champion, the social media champion, and just an amazing feat. I know for you, Joey, and the Real Deal Eclipse, a proud moment that you've got a diamond in the rough and Aaron Black winning that social media championship for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's one bright takeaway from last night, it's the fact that Aaron Black, after 490 days, finally dethroned Black Savage as the social media champion. And like we alluded to earlier, Black Savage used all of his dirty tactics. And you know what? He probably built this fantasy world in his head where, oh, yeah, I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I don't need any help. He's going to call me out. He's going to call my bluff. Okay, I can take him one-on-one. I've beaten him all these times, right? Well, no, he didn't. And Aaron Black proved right then and there last night that Black Savage is not better than Aaron Black, and that is why he's sitting there right now as the HCW social media champion.
Well, congratulations for sure on that. Anything you want to add on that, Eclipse?
I've been telling Joy, for a long time. I know Aaron's gonna capitalize on this opportunity. He's not gonna let this one slip away from him. And I remember talking to Aaron briefly right before the show started. I said, "Remember where we all started from, and look at where you're at. Now go capitalize on it." And I had some expletives behind that, but I'm not gonna say those on here.
I
But
appreciate
of
that. I do
course,
have the expletive button here, but I don't think we need to use it right now.
yeah, definitely don't need to, because of course, out of respect, we definitely respect this platform. So I'm
No,
definitely
I
going to keep
appreciate
it
that. Because
P2
some
for sure.
people on
Yes,
this
sir.
platform that Joey knows, we've had to use it so many times it almost becomes part of the show, and we don't want to go there. But
Right.
obviously, congratulations, Aaron Black, and a long, long overdue moment, and certainly a diamond in a rough night. But let's go to the main event here, your match for your world championship, Eclipse. Let's show it here on the screen because there's a lot to get into and certainly unpack for the audience. So let's do that here right now. I should have it right in front of me. Do I have it? Yep. No, I got the wrong one. Let's take this off because I have it at a different timestamp. So we're going to take this off the screen and go like right here. There we go. Much better. Okay, now I can see it on the full screen. So you've certainly had quite a war, maybe longer than you may have expected. But talk to me, champ, about what's going on here.
Walked into this match, and I'm thinking that I was going to be able to kind of size him up and take advantage, but I wasn't able to do that. He locked up. When we locked up, he muscled me down, and I was like, okay, so I got to use my brain. I really got to outsmart this guy. If I can't outpower him, I got to outsmart him. And of course, that's exactly what I've done. I just outsmarted TD the majority of what I could do anyway. The man is quick and smart on his feet. I will say that he gave me a run for my money for sure.
We talked about this on Friday that you were going to really, really have a laser focus on Kip, and very understandably so because of just the history. But when I asked you about TD Shepard, it was kind of, I'll get there, I'll focus on it. But I kind of think it in a crazy way, going back to what we talked about on Friday, this match kind of went the way I envisioned it to be. He was going to come in here, and because you had already went through one war with Kip and you didn't know a lot about him, TD Shepard gave you a run for your money.
He definitely did. Like I told him, this isn't personal. This is business. But when obviously this man took what I said about him personally, obviously, and he laid it into me. I will tell you that much. And obviously, as you can see here on the
Oh, wait
screen,
a minute. Wait a
yes,
minute. That's some carnage. And I think that's Kip Havoc again. That's Kip Havoc
yes.
almost getting his get back on well, you the real deal, Eclipse, and I see the numbers game just too strong for you, Eclipse, and yeah, this is definitely a rough night. And look at just what. And I think I see Carnage pushing off the referee. And I think it seems like I see that World Heavyweight Championship in the background somewhere. And yeah, the referee, if I'm the referee, I just get out of town. Get out of town. And oh my God. Was that? Oh, jeez, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely didn't see that one coming. Nobody else did here at Harvest Havoc. This is certainly a havoc for a reason. And referees are just getting assaulted here. And we don't need this. We need medical attention. We need help. And Carnage is just everybody's roadkill here, ladies and gentlemen. Just nothing standing in the way of an onslaught here. This is an onslaught. This is an overkill. And boy, it's all over but the shouting, ladies and gentlemen. It's all over but the shouting and just from referees. And here we go. Finally, for what it's worth, Joey Knight Jr. and Aaron Black, your brothers in the establishment of even the odds, but not after what you guys have went through tonight. Do you guys stand a chance against Carnage? There is definitely for unlawful carnal knowledge here, and the unlawful carnal knowledge here is that the establishment had quite a rough night, and there was plenty of havoc created, and a harvest was built from Carnage, and you can see it, and oh my goodness, for good measure, Joey Knight Jr., Kip Havoc goes after you once again, and just wait a minute, just you can see it. This is why Kip Havoc did what he did here last month. This is why Carnage stands tall. Carnage now has those tag team championships, and Carnage now has that World Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the establishment have said they're the ones who are the premier faction in HCW, but no, I don't think so. Oh my goodness, that's not just a triple choke slam, it looked like to me. And Aaron Black, you're getting one for good measure, one for the road. You're getting one for winning that social media championship. You may have won that battle, but you ain't winning that war. And this is carcasses. This is carcasses lying here, and somebody needs to pick them up off the ground because they ain't going anywhere. But Carnage is certainly going somewhere. They're going somewhere with not only the HCW Tag Team Championships, but it looks to me like the richest prize in all of Arkansas, and that is the World Heavyweight Championship. World is yours. Don't hold back, Carnage, from what you're doing to the establishment. And we see it, and they're holding up signs. Kip Havoc is even doing things that I don't even want to get into and saying here on Sportswire Radio, but break it down, because these guys are definitely degenerates, and they're certainly new age outlaws, because, oh, if you didn't know, now you know why Carnage is the ones that hold the cards when it comes to HCW. And finally, it looks like Carnage is leaving here, finally, and you guys may be trying to get up, but at what cost? At what cost? You're going to try to pick yourself up here, and yeah, Carnage doesn't play around here, ladies and gentlemen. They just definitely don't, and you can see it here. That, boy, you know, guys, I don't even know what to say, but that was definitely an assault. That was almost a near assassination.
Yeah, just, I was trying to recover from the hardcore match, and I didn't see everything that was going on. I was still recovering my ribs. I was still medicating my finger from the hardcore match earlier. Aaron grabbed me. He said, "Hey, Eclipse in trouble. We got to go." We got out there as fast as we could. And I'm going to be honest, all I saw was Kip Havoc. I was seeing red.
Oh, you definitely saw Kip Havoc. Oh, you definitely did.
And like Mike earlier with Matthew Day Luna, I was getting my pound of flesh on Kip Havoc. I didn't care in that moment. I saw my opportunity and I was taking it. And of course, once again, much like Matthew earlier in the night with Truman, Kip Havoc, he was getting his tail handed to him by me until Carnage, they took care of Aaron, and now all of them, they start sicking themselves on me. And that's when Kip Havoc got the upper hand, because Kip Havoc ain't a real man. He's a coward.
Well, you know what? Right now, to me, it seems like Carnage are the ones that hold the cards right now. They're the ones that have the better hand. And, Champ, I usually see you here. You hold that HCW championship up high. We show the pictures, but you seem like a man that's just walking around empty-handed and quite a rough night. You guys are the true diamonds, but I don't see too many diamonds right now.
You know, they took something that means the world to me. I put that prize up there with my family, with my faith. I carry that, and to know that they just went out there and took it away from me and just did the most despicable act and beat us down and interrupt a pretty much what was about to become a successful reign on my championship win over TD. It just really upset me. But overall, um, I'm gonna get my title back.
You are?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get my title
You
back.
gonna get it back? You gonna get it
I
back?
am.
Well, the tag team championships are definitely not in the establishment's hands. And Joey's, well, he may have shown some people he's hardcore, but whether you like it or not, he's not as hardcore as Matthew Day Luna. And Aaron, you got that social media championship, but right now, what I just saw here on social media tonight is that Carnage just basically unleashed plenty of, well, it may have been unlawful carnal knowledge for unlawful carnal knowledge, but you might want to say that, well, Carnage don't give any of what that all stands for. You have a championship, but who runs social media right now, from what I've seen tonight? It's Carnage.
You know, when it boils down to it all, Carnage has got some very dirty games and tricks that they like to play. Well, Carnage, I hope you're watching this. You have woken up the dark side of Eclipse.
The
You
dark
just
side of
don't know.
Eclipse.
You just don't know what you have awakened within me. You see, a lot of these issues that have came about, it's all because of Carnage being selfish. They want to pick at the bear and pick at the bear and pick at the bear. Well, eventually that bear is going to bite back. And I think it's about time that I quit holding back and I start causing a little hell around HCW. I think the guys can attest for that too. Can't you agree with me, guys?
Absolutely, 100%. It's one thing getting stabbed in the back by Kip Havoc, but then it's another thing because with everything that happened last night. Okay, Eclipse gets disqualified, so Kip Havoc now has the full possession of the tag team titles. It's in Carnage's hands.
Yep.
That one thing we wanted to avoid: Carnage getting more power by holding more titles. And then Bishop, he wins the international title in the Fatal 4-Way later on the night. I mean, thankfully, we halted some of that momentum by Aaron taking the social media title away. But now they may no one in Carnage is the world heavyweight champion, but they have possession of that belt. So as far as I'm concerned right now, yeah, I got my issues with Matthew Day Luna and Truman. Yeah, we always got to worry about Aaron Storm, Dak Xander, and Chris Preston from Mayhem Mafia. We got to worry about all these people coming after us in HCW. But as far as I'm concerned right now, full attention is on Carnage. Full attention is on Black Savage, Bad Guy, Bishop, Kip Havoc. And whether it's us taking more gold from them or maybe it's someone else. And maybe we just have a hand to play in someone else taking gold away from Carnage. I don't care how it happens. Carnage is going to understand what it means to play with us.
Well, we're going to certainly find out, and I do want to get to some people here in the chat before I move on and get to some final things. So let me take a couple of things here off the screen. First of all, follow The Real Deal Eclipse on Instagram. Follow Aaron Black, our brand new social media champion, on Instagram. You can certainly do that right here. Very simple, very straightforward, and to the point. I just put up your Instagram page. Let's get to some people here. Some people want to talk, and I want to get to them. I want to say hello to Jade. She wants to say hello. Yes, thank you for that. Right now, we're here with the guys from HCW. Zilla is in the house. She would like to say hello. Thank you, Zilla. We know our buddy Michael B is here. Michael Applebaum he's all full of a team Eclipse, and you guys are going to definitely need it. But I will remind you, in this sport, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and Carnage, you can say what you want about Bad Guy. You can say what you want about Bishop. You can say what you want about Black Savage, but it's a dog-eat-dog competition, and they know what it takes. Joey Knight may have got robbed, but in the record books, they don't say whether it was by cheating or by any hook or cranny. It's just who holds that championship, and right now it's Matthew DeLuna. It's Matthew DeLuna, and he's back on top. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Jade. Thank you for being here. Earlier in the show, Ox, of all people, our enforcer, was actually scared about the dog, but the baby screaming. But no, we'll have plenty of other things to talk about shortly. Yes, congratulations, though, Aaron Black, on winning that social media championship, but not really a victory celebrated, especially after what you guys went through and what we just saw throughout the evening. Yes, hello, Ox. How are we doing tonight? I hope we're doing well. Hopefully we're doing better than the Kansas City Chiefs are, but let's not go there. How you feeling? Well, Ox is hurt, but so are the establishment. Kip Havoc is a big rat. Well, somebody else seems to agree, and hit the sub button for us there. I think I know who you are. Hello to our friends in BTW who are back here next week. Thank you to the guys in Roseburg, Oregon. We are doing well. Who else we got here? And Joey Knight Jr. whooped that behind. But, Joey, you may have done some whooping today, Luna, but you're lucky to have a finger. And, well, you don't have that hardcore championship. And those fans are no joke. Yeah, you definitely went up to the high rent district. And let's just say that, well, the check definitely didn't clear. Hit the sub button for Joey's page on YouTube. Definitely a lot of HCW and other related content that you need to check out. You know he'd be here for you guys, Zach Smith. You deserve a rematch, Joey Knight Jr., but I don't know if we're going with that. Maybe it's Truman, maybe DeLuna. I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah. I appreciate the
I don't mean to interrupt, but I think the pizza guy's here. So
Pizza guy said, well, no.
Sorry, I don't mean to disrupt, but I got to go grab this pizza. I'm sorry, guys.
Really, dude? During the stream?
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
But like I was saying, Zach, I appreciate the sentiment, but I try to live by the philosophy that no one deserves anything. You earn it. And I'm going to earn a rematch of the hardcore title. And
yeah,
it don't matter. It doesn't matter who I take a pound of flesh out of, whether I go straight for Matthew, I detour to Truman first.
Yeah.
Or whoever HCW management puts in my way. I'm gonna get that title back.
I hope you do. I hope you do, because Zach Smith definitely does. He feels the same way. And yes, and thank you to Hugh B. Jenkins, our high authority in the ECW. Wait a minute. I'm hearing some things in the background there a bit. I hope everything's okay there with the Real Deal Eclipse, because I mean I know the pizza guy maybe. Wait a minute, am I hearing things in the background? Oh my goodness! Wait a minute! That doesn't sound like the pizza guy. That sounds like somebody's here. Wait a minute! And there's the HCW Championship, the richest prize in Arkansas, and it's on the ground there. It's just laying there. The HCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Hey!
Whoa! The Real Deal Eclipse is down. Down goes the Real Deal Eclipse. He's down, and that's Carnage.
Tom, looks like you've been interviewing the wrong people.
Carnage is here to unleash for some unlawful carnal knowledge. Some unlawful carnal knowledge that it continues to be now a rough weekend for the establishment.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
What about you, Aaron? I think I'm out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's it. It's over. It's over. The establishment. The havoc has been created at the expense of the establishment. They, ladies and gentlemen, have been the meal. They have been cooked. Their gooses are cooked because now the real deal eclipse, well, guess what? The full moon just came at the expense of the real deal because the pizza guy didn't come. It's Carnage. They took the offense right to the door of the real deal eclipse. And while he paid for what he just said here tonight, he's certainly having a rough night and a rough weekend. Joey Knight Jr., yeah, he doesn't want none of that because he just saw what we just saw here on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and wrestling matters. And Joey Knight Jr. knows it could be him next. And Aaron Black, he may be the social media championship holder, but guess what? Spoiler alert, he knows he doesn't want to be, well, the example and the topic of social media if his door also maybe got a knock from who knows whoever else could be, especially maybe Carnage members. More to come, undoubtedly, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be off the air here because the establishment have gone. They've gone for the higher ground, you might want to say. Hubie Jenkins is here, and yeah, they're definitely looking for some safety because right now it was the 3-year anniversary of Haybarn Championship Wrestling's debut. But the Harvest Havoc was all at the expense of the establishment's Joey Knight Jr., Aaron Black, and the Real Deal Eclipse. And you might want to say, ladies and gentlemen, they call themselves, as I've continued to say throughout the evening, diamonds in the rough. But they definitely, well, they're not diamonds, but they certainly had quite the rough weekend. And maybe Carnage was right, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we've been interviewing the wrong people all this time. Maybe we should have been interviewing Black Savage. Maybe Kip Havoc should have came here for all these months. Maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe this wouldn't have happened here in prime time. Maybe we should have had Bishop. Maybe we should have had all the guys in Carnage. Because what we just witnessed here is an assault. It's an assault, but guess what? Establishment members and anybody else, you may have just gotten... You've gotten a fight, and the war, it's only just begun. It's only just begun, and yeah, well, we're not streaming from the great beyond, but we're streaming far away from Carnage members because we don't want to turn in to Joey Knight Jr. We don't want to turn into the Real Deal Eclipse. We don't want to turn in to Aaron Black, and was that just plain Carnage? Well, to me, that was, you might want to say, for unlawful carnal knowledge that Carnage just gave us. That the establishment, they're not going to be the established group in HCW much longer, if any more, altogether. Yes, it was yours. You go back. Well, Carnage does what Carnage wants, and they showed it here. Please follow HCW on YouTube, Instagram. Thank you to, speaking of hardcore legends who induct plenty of carnage on others, Doc Holliday. And before we sign off here, and a champ may have to eat, I see some people that I could really get along with. Even the Prophet Jordan Crowley is witnessing what we just witnessed, and that cooked, chat cooked. Yep, the establishment have been cooked. They have been the meal, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I cutting more promos than all of these guys? Because they're not here. They're not here because, well, they have become the meal. They have become, as I stated, the havoc, the harvest that Carnage was brewing and growing throughout this week. And, well, as I stated, ladies and gentlemen, it was at the expense of the establishment and the Carnage. They certainly, well, gave us plenty of havoc here tonight. No, we say it ain't so. And, yeah, I don't think that was pizza grease. I think that was Carnage just basically, well, giving it a little elbow grease at the expense of the HCW World Heavyweight Champion. Thank you, Zilla, for that comment. There are Carnage fans out there, but I think we've seen enough, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen enough, and I think the only thing left to say is thank you, everybody here, for tuning in to Sportswire Radio. We will be back here tomorrow night with Devin Adams, 9 p.m. Eastern Time or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And please support HCW and I am throwing some jabs tonight. Well, I mean, if you were in traffic for 2.5 hours today in Midtown Manhattan, maybe you would be throwing some jabs and maybe dropping some bars tonight. But nevertheless, it's not about me because I don't want Carnage to knock on my door next. We don't want that. We don't want any trouble, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to say thank you very much for hell no. You may be the enforcer of Sportswire Radio, Mr. Rox McCoy, but the establishment, well, they didn't stand a chance to Carnage. Now, I know others might have stood a chance, but maybe, ladies and gentlemen, the establishment they were asking for this. They got what they wanted. Carnage took the offense to them, and we'll have to see how Carnage continues their reign here because they've got the gold. They've got the belt that they wanted. They have possession of the HCW Heavyweight Championship. They have control of those tag team titles. And, well, it seems to me like the establishment, they've got a lot to regroup here. And I am the official voice of reason, whether I'm acknowledged. Well, I'll acknowledge you as that. But the truth will be revealed. I'm not sure what's going to happen in HCW. But thank you, Ox. Thank you to everybody here tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Certainly no Jordan Crowley. Certainly no Carnage. And thankfully, certainly no the establishment's Joey Knight Jr., Aaron Black, and the Real Deal Eclipse. But I thank everybody here for tuning in. Please follow HCW and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. I'll see you tomorrow with Devin Adams and Be There or Be Square. And if the door knocks live on Sportswire Radio, what's the old adage, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe run or don't answer, because it was now the Real Deal Eclipse. It's been Sean Jovi in the past. It's been the Psychotic Freak. It's been a slew of many others. So the motto of the story is, don't answer the bell if it's the pizza guy or not. Don't answer on Sportswire Radio. But thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, and be there or be